Is inflation up or is it lower than a year ago today?
It's much lower than the 9% that was historic under the Biden administration because of spending.
Appreciate that. Now, will you answer my question? Is it higher or lower than a year ago?
Right now, we are in the middle of a situation in Iran, and as a result, we are going to be on the other side of that, hopefully soon.
Do you want to finish that? So what are you suggesting then? Is it higher or lower than a year ago?
Senator, I'm suggesting that the policies of the
If you don't want to
Democratic
say it, I'll
Party
say it for you.
contribute, lead to inflation.
If you disagree
when I
with
left
me,
office, inflation was never a problem.
if you disagree with me, Director,
He asked a simple yes or no question. The director refused to answer it 4 times. This Senate hearing just turned into a full-blown showdown, and nobody backed down. Watch the clip as we analyze what is going on. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button.
Thank you.
So I don't recall this level of outrage when gasoline prices nationwide averaged $5 a gallon in June of 2022 because of the Democrat war on fossil fuels. I don't understand or don't hear the outrage of the incredibly high energy prices in California that probably hews closest to the type of policies they want to promote in terms of energy.
Well, let me remind you.
The good news is
as long as you're going to debate with me, you might as well allow me to answer.
The good news is we're actually utilizing God-given energy resources here in America. We are energy independent. We are the largest producer now of fossil fuels for energy. If you want a good economy, you need power. The cheaper the power, the better. And green energy hasn't done it.
As long as you're going to interrupt and challenge what I have said, I at least deserve the courtesy to reply. And I will tell you that there was considerable outrage when fossil fuel prices soared in the past. And in fact, I wrote an excess profits clawback bill because the fossil fuel industry took the biggest profits in world history, taking advantage of the Ukraine war to raise prices on American consumers, even for $1 of gas that never went anywhere near Ukraine.
Hey, listen, your Democratic policy has failed, but Senator Luján.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know the last time you put some diesel in your truck or your tractor, but go talk to the farmers back at home that are just trying to mill back there. It's $5.50 a gallon, man. If it's $5.50 a gallon, it's awful for anyone, anytime, any year. And any of us that were quiet when it was high before, shame on all of us. But this is ridiculous, and it's hurting people, and it's breaking people. So I'm certainly hopeful that we all will do something about this. I don't see anything in this budget that will help reduce prices for the American people. But the questions I prepared for today, Director, I don't know if you're aware, the last hearing that Chairman Graham had in this committee room, and the Budget Committee, was around Social Security. And that's where my questions are. As you know, Social Security and Medicare are the foundation of financial and health security for older Americans, people with disabilities, and survivors. The programs provide dignity in retirement and protect the American people during hard times. I think we can all agree with that. I've heard the President say things like that before. Now, Director, does President Trump believe that Social Security and Medicare are worth protecting?
Of course.
Director, I presume that you're aware that both Social Security and Medicare face shortfalls in the next decade.
I'm aware of the accounting shortfalls, but I'm here to tell you that the President is fully committed to making sure that Social Security and Medicare beneficiaries are fully protected.
Appreciate that. Now, does the budget that you're here to talk about that was submitted for this fiscal year request, does it include any proposals to address the looming insolvency of Social Security or Medicare?
There are no mandatory proposals in this budget. It is a discretionary-only budget unless those mandatory proposals are part and parcel of the discretionary needs in this first year.
Does it make any proposals to protect seniors from harmful benefit cuts?
It is not a mandatory long-term budget. It is a discretionary only. We do not have mandatory policies. This President fully protects Social Security and Medicare beneficiaries now and forevermore.
Mr. Director, are you aware that Republicans in the Senate and the House of Representatives are contemplating a budget reconciliation as soon as next week?
Yes, Senator.
Does President Trump, is President Trump demanding provisions to shore up Social Security and Medicare in the budget reconciliation bill?
Senator, we're in a crisis right now because of the fact that the Democrats did not fund Department of Homeland Security for a month. And as a result, we had a Department of Homeland Security that was disintegrating, and the Senate then had to take steps to pass everything but ICE and Corporation for the CBP. So now we're in a situation where we have to on the mandatory side, pass a reconciliation bill to fund those two law enforcement agencies because the Democrats wouldn't do it through the normal appropriations process. This process has to be tight, it has to be timely, and we fully expect to get that done between now and June.
Director, you're in the U.S. Senate side of the Capitol today. Are you aware of that?
What's that?
You're on the U.S. Senate side of the Capitol
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Do you know who's in the majority in the U.S. Senate?
Yes.
Who?
The Republican Party, who
Republicans, I
relies
appreciate-
on Democrat
I
votes to
appreciate
get through
that.
the filibuster.
And Director, are you aware that the United States Senate passed not just once but twice funding of
Yes.
most of the DHS bill? Are you aware of that?
After
And are
a
you
month
aware of who's in the
shutdown.
majority in the U.S. House of Representatives?
After a month
Who's in
shutdown
the
of the
majority,
Department of
Director?
Homeland Security,
Okay, let me give you it's a secret. Republicans are in the majority in the U.S. House. Mike Johnson's the one that's sitting on his ass and not doing a damn thing to move the legislation. He lied to the American people and said he'd move it on a Monday, and then on Tuesday, I guess he prayed to the Jesus that Donald Trump purports to be, and then he changed his mind, and now nothing's happening, sir. So let's talk about the facts, but let me get back to this. I appreciate today the clarity that you just told us that there's nothing in the budget bill to address Social Security, to address Medicare. When Chairman Graham was up here, I said, well, look, there's a budget reconciliation bill coming up. If you care about Social Security, because we're having this hearing today, then do something about it. You don't need Democratic votes if you're going to go this way. Fill it and get it done. Director, I'm just beside myself in some of these areas. Let me ask a question with my remaining time here. Is inflation up or is it lower than a year ago today?
it's much lower than the 9% that was historic under the Biden administration because of spending.
Appreciate that. Now, will you answer my question? Is it higher or lower than a year ago?
Right now, we are in the middle of a situation in Iran, and as a result, we are going to be on the other side of that, hopefully soon.
Do you want to finish that? So what are you suggesting then? Is it higher or lower than a year ago?
Senator, I'm suggesting that the policies of the
If you don't wanna
Democratic
say it, I'll
Party
say it for you.
lead to inflation.
If you disagree
when I
with
left
me-
office, inflation was never
If
a
you
problem.
disagree with me, Director, you can correct me. Inflation is higher right now than it was a year ago.
Senator,
Fact.
the policies of the Democratic Party contributed to the highest inflation since the 1980s.
I heard
the
your
early
question in
1980s
response
under-
earlier.
under Jimmy
I'm
Carter.
asking about a year ago, Director. You came into this office a year ago. It's higher now. That's just facts.
And the
sir.
president's administration has driven down the cost of inflation because we have tackled spending, we have tackled
Sir, it's higher than it
affordability.
was a year ago. The president took office a year ago. You can keep spinning this all you want. Again, I'll remind you what I told my colleagues a while back. A statistics professor of mine said, figures don't lie, but liars can figure. You can dance around all these numbers all you want, but they need to tell the truth. Let's be honest with the American people. When RFK was before me in the Finance Committee, I said, tell the American people the truth. And his response was something along the lines, they don't want to hear that. Let's just be honest with each other as we get to this place. It is what it is. The facts are the facts. So I certainly hope that we can get there as well. And then, Mr. Chairman, I know you're going to explain to everyone what I tried to say today, so I appreciate your clarity as a professor in explaining what the New Mexico farmer was trying to say to the director today. But I'll just close by saying trickle-down economic theory is not a new idea. The notion that you defended, Director, to the question asked by the chairman on who got the tax breaks with the question that came from my colleague from Rhode Island in justifying that wealthy people getting tax breaks will make its way down to people. That's an old broken theory, man. Trickle-down cancer has not worked in America. It's not working now. It's hurting people. So I hope that we get an explanation of what that means as well. I yield back.
Senator Luján just exposed something the director didn't want to admit on camera. But before we even get to the inflation question, he opened with something that stopped the room. He pointed out that diesel is sitting at $5.50 a gallon. Farmers back home are being crushed, and his response to the political back and forth about energy prices was blunt. If it's $5.50 a gallon, it's awful for anyone, anytime, any year. It's hurting people. It's breaking people. No party spin, just reality on the ground. Then he shifted to Social Security and Medicare. He asked the director directly, does this budget include any proposals to address the looming insolvency of these programs that tens of millions of Americans depend on? The answer? No. This is a discretionary-only budget. No mandatory proposals. Nothing to shore up Social Security. Nothing to protect seniors from benefit cuts. Nothing. And a budget reconciliation bill is coming as early as next week, and Social Security still isn't in it. Then came the inflation question. He asked one straightforward thing. Is inflation higher or lower than it was a year ago? Simple, right? The director dodged it the first time, blaming Democrats. Dodged it the second time, bringing up Iran of all things. Dodged it a third time, circling back to Biden's record. By the fourth attempt, Luján had seen enough. Inflation is higher right now than it was a year ago. That's just facts. No spin, no deflection, just a number. And then he says something that should probably be printed on the wall of every hearing room in Washington. A statistics professor of mine once said, "Figures don't lie, but liars can figure." He went further, calling out the director for dancing around numbers instead of being straight with the American people. He even referenced RFK's testimony in the Finance Committee, where when asked to tell the public the truth, the response was essentially, they don't want to hear it. And he closed with trickle-down economics. The director had defended tax breaks for wealthy Americans, arguing the benefits would eventually make their way down to regular people. Luján wasn't having it. That's an old broken theory. Trickle-down has not worked in America. It's not working now. It's hurting people. He wasn't polished. He wasn't perfectly rehearsed. But he was honest. And sometimes that's exactly what these hearings are missing.